Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Aaron.
We're taking a look at Adrenaline by Czech Games Edition.
Adrenaline is a hormone released in the body during times of stress.
You're about to take a test at school.
Throwing your last Ultra Ball on a Dratini.
An episode of Friends just ended.
Trying to get the early bird on a SEMA on Kickstarter.
Trying to eat the entire box of Krispy Kreme before you get home.
Sneaking into an R-rated movie when you're underage and sneaking into a Pixar movie when you're overage. One of the main taglines for this game is that it's a first-person shooter video game translated into a board game.
And I think maybe not like maybe some of the modern like Call of Duty where like these like really intense, detailed games. It's like original Halo when you're LAN party and you're like trying to like hook up all the Xboxes and find that one LAN cable that's not frayed on the end. There's no strategy. It's not like you take this flank, I'll take that flank. It's just like get the rocket launcher and run to the middle, spin in circles, shooting rockets at people. It has that kind of old school FPS.
And it's definitely every man for himself. You really just kind of go in there and you're all by yourself and you just want to go around and everybody is your enemy.
My first game, I sat down and looked at the board and my first thought was, okay, how can me and Aaron gang up against Tom? Because that's what I think every time I play a game.
Yeah.
And after a round, I was like, oh, there's no way that's happening because so many weapons can damage multiple people, and there's a lot of weapons that damage if you're closer, so you don't want to team up with somebody because if you're next to them, they're going to shoot you because you don't have to kill someone to get the points for it. You just have to have done damage to them and you get points. So even if I just I'm still going to get points for that, even though I didn't really do a lot.
Yeah, and then if I come in and
And then you slap me like, what the? So just like you said, yeah, you definitely just want to do damage to everyone because whether it be first blood or just being second place on hurting someone, you're gonna get points. You just best to do damage to everyone.
You do get extra points when you do the most damage to somebody, so you are incentivized to do that. But honestly, it's not a huge margin if you get second place. It's a difference of 2 points almost every single time. So I can swing over and do 1 point of damage on Wesley and never touch him again and still secure that I'm gonna get 6 points. No, that's only in a 3-player game. Obviously, in a higher player game, you are more incentivized to try and get the higher point value because I can just drop 1 point, and then in a 5-player game, I can just get only 1 point from it. So there's less reward from that.
I kind of forgot that my first playthrough, and I was like, oh, I could hit Aaron for 3 points, but that would put him 1 point away from dying, so I don't want to do that because that makes him easier for someone else to kill and get all the points for it. So I was like, oh no, wait. If I did that, I would have the most points on him, and there's no way anybody could catch up. Mm-hmm. So I can let somebody else do all the work of killing him, and I still get the most points for it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an interesting mechanism of whoever does the most damage gets the points, not whoever was the last one to get a point. Because in games like Halo, that wasn't the case. I would get points for it. I could get an assist, but it was whoever did the actual final blow got the big points for it.
Yeah, and same thing with
My Little Pony.
Cutthroat Caverns. You only get points when you do this killing blow on the monster.
Yeah.
And I think that was also for me. I kept thinking that too. I don't want him to get right next to death because then somebody else will come in and get the points. But it's not. Doing the damage secures your seat on the point getting thrown.
Even as you take damage in this game, though, they put a cool mechanism in it that as you take a bunch of damage, you get better action. So, the more damage you're taking, you actually get a little better. So if you're getting ganged up on and, Tom and Wes are both shooting at me, I'm like, all right, well, now I can run faster and I can pick up things quicker and now I can move and shoot. It's almost like that last stand thing. I get a little bit better right before I die and then start over.
There are some good catch-up mechanisms because in addition to that, the more often that you are killed, the less points you're worth. So it's not good for us to say, hey, let's just keep killing Aaron.
Because I'm going to be worthless.
Because eventually, but because you're continually worth less and less points to kill, it kind of takes that target off your back. So even if you're they always just kill me because I own the game or I'm the big gamer, it just starts mattering less and less. It kind of instinctually takes the target off your back and just whoever has been killed the least becomes the target.
And you get a bonus point for drawing first blood on somebody. So again, once I do damage to him, I want to now go for you. I really do like the variety of weapons that they've given us in the game. The mini cards, the kind of the ones that you use as instants or you can use them for ammo, they only fall under a couple of categories. There's only 3 or 4. So, and that's good because then there's not too much to look at. You're not constantly looking at that guide over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But they definitely do have a lot of different weapons, really unique, and they're very thematic. The way that the chainsaw works, promo card, it definitely makes, okay, well, you have to be right next to them, and you can put a lot of extra effort into them to do more damage to them. Or the heat-seeking missile, you don't have to see them. Or the shotgun, or the Thor hammer thing. Like, all these things, they definitely put a lot of time in there to making all these weapons different and unique and, very thematic.
All of the cards in this game actually don't have any words on them, except for the name of the weapon. And then it's just a bunch of symbology, which, once you learn it, actually makes sense. But it is a little rough at first. You're like, okay, what? This guy is attacking a red guy and doing 3 damage. I know the first game we played, we're like, who's the red guy? I can't attack a red guy. There's no red guy on the board. And we're like, no, that's not how it is. It's symbolizing one person, and then they'll put another color in there if you're attacking another person. So it is a little bit to learn. And then like there's the spaces, and there's like an X if you can't hit the space you're in, and there's like little damage if you're hitting like multiple people. So like once you learn it, it's very useful. And it can make it quick. You can just look and go, oh, okay, that's pretty awesome. It'll do this. But until you've learned them, you're going to refer to that guy a good handful of times.
And I would even say it's not learning what every single symbol means. It's almost learning like how the symbols work and kind of the spirit behind the symbols. Of once you get, okay, so like I get that this is damage and this is this, and you start understanding, it's all like pictographs. Of like, okay, so this is a guy, and that means just any guy. Okay, so that's spaces. Okay, that must be wall. Like, it becomes very intuitive once you understand how the language works.
Yeah, and a lot of games do use symbology to kind of break that language barrier. And I wouldn't say that this is the easiest I've ever seen in the game, but it's definitely not the hardest. It's very medium. Your first game will be clunky, but from there on out, it will go a lot more fluidly.
And it would be nice if it had a guide you could give to the players, like some kind of cheat sheet that everyone could have, so it's not like, hey, pass me that book. Okay. Yeah, this means, if you could each just kind of look down here.
I had to mime what opening a book looks like. I have had fun playing this game, and I do think the theme comes through really well. I do think, the weapons are interesting and cool, but probably my biggest complaint that I'll have about this game is it's actually just a little bit too long. We're doing the exact same thing every time. Like, it doesn't change or whatever. I mean, I can pick up new weapons, but it's ultimately, I need to get ammo, I need to get weapons, I need to shoot people. And there's been games where we just kind of cut it early. We say, okay, instead of getting these 8 kills, let's just say this next kill is what ends it, because I just kind of don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's definitely a game that is meant to be fast-paced. It's called adrenaline. You want to be pew, 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 run around, shoot, 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 shoot. But when people get bogged down reading the cards, reading the pamphlet, studying which move is most optimal, it kind of slows it down and takes you out of the theme because it's going slowly. And I would say that one good way to fix that would be, I would love to play this game on a timer. After we're playing with experienced players, people who know the symbology and understand the rules and can do it kind of fast, I'll say, okay, we're going to play this game in 20 minutes. Either we'll have the normal end condition, or whoever has the most points at the end of that 20 minutes, because that would really bring the spirit of this game out.
Yeah, and I think it does kind of feel like playing an old Halo game and saying, hey, it's free-for-all deathmatch, first 1 to 200 kills wins. And you're like, oh my god, it's going to take like hours. And like it's fun. And I could play the game for hours, but I'd rather play 4 25 kill games than 100 kill game. And because you like keep a lot of your weapons and stuff when you die, I feel like once one person gets one gun and they kind of like, this is my strategy, I have this gun. And you didn't swap out guns as much as I thought you would. So you can kind of get like a combo of guns, like, okay, I've got my chainsaw and my heat-seeking rocket, so if they're close, I can kill them. If they're far away, I can kill them. And I just keep this, and I just run here, pick up stuff, and shoot them. Run here, pick up stuff, hope I can shoot them. So it gets repetitive, and I think another solution to it is just don't play the full 8 kills or whatever it is. You start with the skull track, and just say, we like playing a short game, so we're going to remove the first 4 skulls, and just play from there. And you can scale it as much as you want.
They do recommend for your first game, I think it was only playing to 5 kills. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's every game for me. They
did a really good job with the quality of this game. Like these tokens, the little skulls are actually from Zulkin, we noticed. But I like the little blood drops. You hand them out when you do damage. They're sculpted in the color of your mini. The minis are really nicely detailed. So I can't wait till we paint these, because this game will actually, we could finish painting. There's only 5 minis. It's definitely a paintable game. And the board's cool because it's reversible sides, so you can set up the map a couple different ways to give you a little bit of variety when you're playing it.
I did feel like there was a little bit of dead space on the board, but it's not a huge board that really matters. Like, they could have made the board smaller, but it doesn't, there's not a lot of, like, negatives to having the board bigger other than, like, oh, they could have put something there. They didn't. But, okay.
I mean, they could have put like art there.
Yeah.
And I guess that there's some opportunity missed there, but it's not as bad as like War of the Ring that has like 33% of the board unused. Where they're,
Yeah.
I mean, because the map of Middle Earth.
The only component I was kind of disappointed in was these little energy cubes. And I get, we see this in all the games, and I always just get bored by them. Like, it's like just having a standard meeple of, yeah, they work fine, they could have been cooler. You know, if this was a Kickstarter, that's the stretch goal I've wanted to see. Just something a little bit more, like, because everything else is very thematic. Just something a little bit more than just, oh yeah, and these little clear cubes you see all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Coming from a video game background, I really enjoyed this game. Like, it definitely feels like a Call of Duty or a Halo where you're just running around, picking up guns, shooting each other, and I feel like they translated it really well. And, you know, the components are great. The fun had for the amount of time put into the game is worth it. Like, I really enjoyed it.
I think this game is a good pull for video gamers into board gaming. It's a good, your friends who just sit there and play Call of Duty say, dude, I've got a video game, like a first-person shooter board game. You've got to check it out. I think you'll really like it because it's going to pull you in from that. So that being said, I'm happy to play this game. I had a lot of fun. I'd play it again, especially if we did keep to the shorter rounds. But I'm okay not owning it. I'm okay if my FLGS had a store copy or if Tom or Aaron owned this game and I just played with them. I don't think it's a game that like I need to have on my shelf so I can have access to it whenever I want.
So we've all talked about the it's a first-person shooter game thing, and I definitely will say, yes, it fits that category. It did it well. This is as close as we're going to get to having a board game that is a first-person shooter game, totally. However, for me, this experience, again, the biggest thing is that it just felt slow. Because I'm a board gamer, I felt like I wanted to strategize a lot more. I wanted to think very heavily. I wanted to look at every single weapon out there, think about what's the best. I needed to manage my resources, make sure I had enough ammo. Well, I could shoot this gun, but I wouldn't be able to reload it. Is that worth it? How would next turn work? Where am I positioned? I was thinking with a board game mindset too much to really dive into the theme and get that kind of, I'm just running around shooting like crazy. It's definitely good for what it is, but I would definitely like it if it was a little bit shorter. And I think a lot of board gamers are going to have to try and turn off their, min-max thinking to enjoy it a little bit more.
So as you heard, collectively, we all believe this is a great game that translates first-person shooting into a board game. Obviously, I liked it the most out of all three of us. I don't know if that's just because I like the randomness, the little bit of pick up these things, shoot these people, okay, keep going. But if you know somebody who likes first-person shooters or you like first-person shooters and you want to get a board game, get this game.
You guys can go ahead and check the purchase link down below. You can also leave us a comment if you have any questions, or if you've played this game and you want to share your thoughts on it, we'd love to hear that.
Or if you just want to digitally slap Aaron. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never be bored. So even if I just pew pew pew.